What's up everybody, it's Robin Gaming here. So Ratchet and Clank is of course easily one of the biggest PS4 exclusives that would be coming out this year. The game comes out tomorrow in America and next week in Europe, and fortunately I have already been able to play it for a week now because of a review copy that I got from Sony, which was really cool, but I wasn't able to share my opinions with you yet because of the embargo. I had so many people ask me what I thought about the game and everything like that, but I just couldn't tell because of the restrictions, and fortunately right now that embargo has lifted, so I can finally do my review on the game and to instantly answer the biggest question that you all have. Is the game good? Yes it is. It's totally awesome. I've been having an absolute blast with this one. Ratchet and Clank on PS4, it is the comeback of the series that you have wanted in a long time, so totally something I can recommend. But let's get into the review, of course. I'm gonna start off with the story here, and I'm gonna keep it spoiler free in terms of any plot details, and also the gameplay that you're seeing in this video will be of the first 2 hours in the game, so don't worry about anything like that. Now, as you might know, this Ratchet and Clank game is supposed to be kind of like a reboot. It's Captain Quark retelling the original story of Ratchet and Clank that we already saw in the PS2 version, of course, of the very first entry in the series, which I myself never played back in the time, so I actually don't know how that one compares to this, but as I said, it is supposed to be that reimagination, the retelling of the story of how Ratchet finally met up with Clank. Also ties in with the movie that is coming out very soon, in a couple weeks from now. But yeah, as I said, Ratchet actually meets up with Clank for the first time in this game, and it's basically about Ratchet trying to become a ranger. There's an evil Dr. Nefarious as usual with a, evil master plan, and I won't reveal what that exactly is yet, of course, but basically the story is not anything mind-blowing or anything that completely sucks you in where you want to know what's gonna happen next. No, it's pretty basic, and it's what you expect from a game like this. But that being said, it was told in a really cool way, I thought, and the cutscenes especially are just beautiful. It feels, when you're watching one of these cutscenes, it feels like you are actually watching a CGI movie. So the graphics this time around get really close to that level. Also gameplay wise, it doesn't look quite the same, but still very good. And yeah, once again, it's a step up on PS4 this time around with the first Ratchet and Clank game here. If you compare it to the PS3 versions, then it's once again kind of like, just outdoing it one extra step further, graphically wise, I guess. A little bit of a flaw that I had with the story though myself is that basically the plot and the story between Ratchet and Clank as characters could have been more detailed. It doesn't necessarily feel like a reboot, rather more like the moment Ratchet and Clank finally meet up in the beginning of the game, of course they introduce each other to themselves, but it feels from then on like they've known each other for years already, and it's just another adventure in the same universe. They don't learn stuff from each other, there's no real bond that start to exist after a while. There's nothing growing there, if you get what I mean. They don't find out about each other's abilities or things they can do in the game. No, the moment they meet up, that's basically it, and from then on you just go on an adventure and deal with all these other characters in the universe. So a little bit of a thing that I honestly would have liked to see more in the game story-wise, I guess, but it is what it is. That's pretty much, one of these flaws I had overall with the story in this game. Then we get to the gameplay, which I think is easily the biggest reason why you will want to be playing this game, and also what the series is most known for. Ratchet and Clank, of course, is a third-person, I guess most of the time an action game that really heavily relies on shooting with all kinds of crazy weapons that they offer, from like the Groovatron, which is basically like a disco ball that you can throw at enemies that makes them start dancing, to your normal magma blaster, which is kind of like a standard gun, or your lava gun, your RPGs, the Sheepinator, which literally turns your enemies into sheeps. All kinds of crazy and fun stuff to experiment with that is very satisfying to play with. All these guns can basically be leveled up and be upgraded. There's a massive upgrade tree for all guns that have you like, probably pick out of like 30 in total for every single one of them, which is really cool. There's all these collectibles from a new collectible card system that gives you like in-game advantages. So say you can collect more bolts, which is the in-game currency, or that make your weapons stronger, or actually even unlock new versions of weapons, to the golden bolts, which basically unlock all kinds of artwork for you to check out from previous games in the series. So really cool stuff to collect. And Ratchet and Clank both also have access to a bunch of different gadgets, as you are used to from previous games as well. You have the magnet boots still, and I think in this one there's also newly added is the jetpack, which is super fun, which I think, yeah, once again is new, so you didn't see that one in the previous one before, but the jetpack is super fun to play with, and there's a lot of other ones that I won't spoil for you to check out basically in the full game. So they do try to, I guess, spice some things up a bit, add some more variety, so it isn't just your shooting gameplay, which once again is very satisfying, but it definitely has the focus though, and there's also all kinds of other gameplay sections which go from mild platforming to just these on-rails riding sections that you saw in previous games. There's different sort of puzzles in the game. From Clank actually has its own gameplay in these giant rooms where you're being put in, where you have to solve these sort of like brain puzzles with these robots that you have to throw in certain directions and that you have to solve all kinds of, you know, puzzles with. In this one you also have new space fights, which I myself thought the controls weren't exactly very good or satisfying, but you know, like it was just there to add some variety once again. It has maybe 2 or 3 of those sections in the full game, so you really won't be spending more than say 10 or 15 minutes with those space fights, but yeah, it's just fun to see something else for once, so you're not just shooting enemies all the time. And there's also Holo board races, which kind of is like, say, snowboarding or whatever, you know, with these boost pads that you have to go over with, and you're basically just racing against 5 AI enemies, try to get the first place, which wasn't very hard, but once again, you know, that's kind of, I guess, my complaint with the gameplay, is that although the shooting is very satisfying, I feel like it had a little bit too much focus. It's like 70% of the time, I guess, you will be shooting enemies and you will be doing stuff with shooting, and although you have all kinds of different weapons and it is very fun, I feel like every single one of these sections that I just mentioned, say, you know, just take these on-rails riding sections, right? They pop up literally like maybe halfway or a little after that through the game. And there's only maybe 2 or 3 in the full game, which I think it could have been more, you know, if you get what I mean. If all of these certain things that you have, from the puzzles to the space fights, the hoverboard races and the on-rails riding sections, if there was one more added in the full game for each of those, then I think you would have had a nice balance. But in this one, for now, it feels like the gunplay had a bit too much focus in general. But, you know, it's still good, as I said, so it's not a real big complaint, but just something I noticed. Then we get to the value, and I guess, you know, the game is, as I said, very linear. There are some optional side quests that you can do, which really won't take you like, say, 10 minutes per planet or something, won't take you longer than that. So it's not, you know, for me myself, it took me about 10 hours to beat the game while doing all of those optional things. So the game is not super long, but at the same time, it's a quality game. It's very fun to play. Just the overall, I guess, polishing is great, and, you know, in general, I had a blast playing through it. And at the same time, there's also a really cool challenge mode, which is basically New Game Plus, that allows you to play the game a second time, but this time around your weapons won't be capped at level 5. You can actually keep leveling them up and buy more upgrades as well, so you can, I think, level them up to like level 10 in total, and they get even more powerful. Enemies become stronger as well at the same time, but just seeing your magma blaster go from just firing 1 bullet at once to going to, say, 5 bullets at once, it's very cool to see. And I actually might have had more fun playing the game my second time through than my very first time, which, yeah, I gotta praise the game for, and therefore the replay value is definitely very great, because although the game is only 10 hours, the second time playing through it was actually for me more fun than the first time. So yeah, I'm definitely actually planning to also play the third time to get the Platinum Trophy, because I think it does require you to play through the games at least twice, if not 3 times. So I'm definitely going for another playthrough in the future. Overall, I had a great time playing this game. I think it's definitely the comeback from Ratchet and Clank that you would have wanted from it, and in general there's very little flaws in this one, and you know, it's just a very satisfying game to play, a lot of fun, and I think I would totally recommend it to basically everybody who enjoys a good third-person action game. So Ratchet and Clank on PS4 has a couple of slight flaws, but in general an amazing game that you definitely will want to check out. So I would rate my personal experience for Ratchet and Clank a 9 out of 10, and then for now I would like to know your thoughts in the comments, and then I'd like to thank you a lot for watching, and hope to see you again next time.